Eva and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be talking all about milks. So dairy milks, non-dairy milks, comparing them all and all that good stuff. But before we get into the video, make sure to give this video a nice thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss out on my videos. Alright, let's get started. So before I dive into this video, I just wanted to say thank you guys. We passed 500 subscribers, super excited, and it's all because of you. I can't thank you guys enough. I am so happy. I wasn't even really trying to hit any kind of number and I just saw that and I was just like, that's so nice. So that being said, I would love to do a nice little giveaway for you guys. So let me know in the comment section below if that is something you'd be interested in. I don't know why you wouldn't be. But let me know what you guys think or maybe some ideas of what you guys would want to win. I don't know. It is fall, Halloween is coming up. I don't know. Do you guys want kitchen gadgets? I don't know. You let me know in the comment section below. But let's get back to this video. So in this video, we're going to be comparing dairy milk, rice milk, soy milk, almond milk, and coconut milk. So let's first talk about milk and some milk alternatives because not that long ago, there was pretty much like dairy milk on the market everywhere you would go. Like no one would ever think, oh, I'm going to have some cereal and, some almond milk. It was always just cow's milk. At least growing up, that's what it was for me. Now even normal whole cow's milk has so many different varieties. If you go to the store and just try and grab, some dairy milk, there's, whole milk, 2% milk, skim milk, and then there's even lactose-free milk. So like milk isn't milk, even when it just comes to normal cow's milk. So now with all these different dietary concerns or allergy concerns, all of these other alternative milks or plant-based milks or whatever you want to call them have become more prevalent and very well available throughout a bunch of different stores around the US. Even goat's milk or oat milk is a thing, and if you haven't seen it already, I have a video right up here of how I make oat milk right at home. Super easy, super simple, and if you guys want, I can totally do the same thing with the almond milk and all that kind of stuff. It's really easy. So everybody has different needs, right? No two people are the same. Nobody needs the exact same amount in nutrients as the other person, or maybe your flavor profile is different than mine. So things that I think taste good, maybe you don't, or maybe you can't have that because you have an allergy or whatever it might be. So all of these different milks and milk alternatives, of course, have their advantages and their disadvantages. So for example, whole milk has a good amount of protein, fat, and calories. So if you're somebody who's looking to have more protein in their diet or incorporate some more calories, maybe you would opt for whole milk. But on the other hand, there may be somebody who is lactose intolerant or can't have dairy milk, so you have to go with a plant-based alternative. But then there's coconut milk, like you see me use a ton on this channel, that is also high in, some fats and calories. But cow's milk and goat's milk are the only ones that have, really much higher concentration of saturated fats in them and calories. So that's definitely something to take note of. And don't forget too, of course, there's always sweetened and flavored options of different milks too. So you've seen I've used just plain almond milk, I've used vanilla almond milk, I've used sweetened, not sweetened, whatever it is. So that's all going to come into play here too, because a lot of those milks can really up it in the sugars once you kind of mess around with them. So I have found a really awesome little graphic or table for you guys that goes through the different milks, their calories, their carbs, their sugars, their fats, their proteins, all that good stuff. So I'm not sure if I'm going to have that on the screen while I'm talking, if that's easier for you guys to follow or not, but regardless, listen or watch, whatever you want to do. So cow's milk, whole cow's milk, has 150 calories. They have 12 grams of total carbs, 12 grams of sugar, 8 grams of total fats, and 8 grams of protein. So you're going to see as we go down the list, the numbers are going to go, for the most part, lower and lower until we get to, maybe some of the carbs and things like that in some of these other milks. But for the most part, you'll see a trend here. So 1% milk, like cow's milk, is going to have 110 calories, 12 grams of carbohydrates again, 12 grams of sugars again, 2 grams of fat, and 8 grams of protein. So you'll see the amount of fat and calories goes down way more in 1%. Now we have skim milk. So skim milk is essentially just fat-free cow's milk. So here you'll see everything is going to go way down in your calories, so you only have 80 calories here. It's about half of the amount of calories as whole milk. You still have 12 grams of carbs, 12 grams of sugars, but of course no fat here, and the same amount of protein. So if you're looking to kind of up it in your protein but still get the same amount of carbs in, then this is a great option for you. There's no fat and it's way less calories. Now you have almond milk that is unsweetened, so all these other alternative plant-based milks, if you will, or the coconut milk, these are all going to be unsweetened. So do keep in mind that the numbers are going to change, of course, with the sugars and all that kind of stuff if you add sweeteners and flavorings and stuff like that to them. But we're just going to keep it down to the basics here. So we have our unsweetened almond milk. You have 40 calories, so way less calories than the cow's milk. All of them. So maybe this is something you want. Maybe you're looking to increase your calories. I don't know, but this is a nice little graphic so you guys can see. There's only 1 gram of carbs here, no sugars, and 3 grams of fat and 2 grams of protein. So the protein is way lower here than in the cow's milk, but so are the calories and the sugars and all that other stuff too. Then we have a soy milk. So my sister used to drink soy milk when she was younger, when she was getting off of breast milk. So here we have 80 calories, so same as the non-fat cow's milk. Then you have 4 grams of carbs, 1 gram of sugar, 4 grams of fat, and 7 grams of protein. So the soy milk here has nearly the same amount of protein as cow's milk. Then we have rice milk. Now rice milk and soy milk, these two milks are something that I hardly ever use. You'll see me most often use probably almond milk and coconut milk in certain like drinks or beverages that I might make. And of course, normal cow's milk for typically like when I bake things or maybe my rice pudding recipe or something like that. So with our rice milk here, again, it's unsweetened. There's 120 calories here, so it's kind of teeter-tottering in between the whole cow's milk and the 1%. Then there's 22 grams of carbs, so it's got the most carbs out of everything. It's nearly even double the cow's milk. 10 grams of sugars here, so it's right up there with the cow's milk, and 2 grams of fat and no protein. So you get no protein here, a little bit of fat. But you're really much higher up here in the calories and the total carbs. And then lastly, we have our coconut milk unsweetened. This is only going to be 50 calories, so it's kind of in between the almond milk and, skim milk. Then we have 2 grams of carbs, so definitely on the lower end, no sugars, 5 grams of fat, and no grams of protein again. So that was basically a little just summation of all the different kinds of milks, milk alternatives, and essentially the contents and the nutrients that are found in them so you can kind of compare. So this is, like I said, just kind of an overview, and now is where I'm going to go more in depth and talk about them all individually. And you should be able to scroll down through the video and kind of pick which milk topic that you want to go to. If you want to watch this whole video, definitely do that. Otherwise, if you're looking specifically for what I have to say about rice milk, cow's milk, whatever, just kind of scroll around and it should pop up when I'm talking about that topic. So with cow's milk, as we've already established, cow's milk has the most amount of calories than all of the milks, and also the highest fat content. So this normal whole cow's milk in the US is high in natural proteins, fat, and calcium. And here in the US, it's actually also fortified with vitamin A and D as well. So in the different types of cow's milk, like you saw, just the amount of fat and calories are going to go up or down depending on how much fat is in it, whether it's the 1% or just non-fat skim milk. The only thing is when you're removing all those fats, you are removing some of the nutrients. So in the non-fat skim milk, you are removing, vitamins E and vitamin K completely. So lactose is just a type of sugar. So for instance, in the lactose-free milk, this is just kind of a process that this milk undergoes to kind of break down those sugars. So lactose-free milk also comes in, 2%, 1%, and skim milk too, so there's a lot of variety here. But it's still a good source of protein, calcium, and your vitamins and minerals. So I know one of you guys had commented in one of my videos that I talk too much in these kinds of videos. So let's show you guys graphics while I talk to you again. So here's a nice little graphic. So we're just going to go through the pros and cons of cow's milk. So some pros of cow's milk are that the whole milk can provide essential proteins, extra calories from fats, as well as vitamins and minerals. The lactose-free versions are available for people who have a lactose intolerance. And cow's milk, including the grass-fed and low-heat pasteurized options, are widely available in grocery stores and convenience stores. Now, some cons. So whole milk is high in calories and fat, as we saw before with that chart. Many people are intolerant to lactose, which is a sugar that is found in milk, like we had said before, and some people have ethical concerns about modern dairy farming practices. So these are the pros and cons. Do with them what you will. Now let's get into almond milk. So almond milk is made from ground almonds and filtered water. So it's super easy to make. Like I said, if you guys want, just comment down below and I can easily make a video on this. I did do the same with oat milk. Super easy, super simple. So the only difference is starches and thickeners can be used in the ones that you see, at the store, just to improve the consistency and, increase the shelf life. So I wouldn't be adding those in the one that I make at home, because why would I? But that's the only difference. But of course, those of you with allergies to nuts should stay away from almond milk. So there's a milk for everybody, let's just say that. And like we saw in our little chart, the almond milk is going to be a lot lower in calories than the other milks, as long as you're, picking the unsweetened, unflavored, and whatever one. There's also no saturated fats, and because it is plant-based, it's naturally lactose-free. So almonds themselves are a good source of protein, but almond milk is not necessarily. It's not really a good source of calcium either, but just like the other milks on the market, there are milks that these companies will kind of infuse or put these vitamins back into the milks. So calcium, vitamin A, and vitamin D are typically supplemented into almond milk. So here we go with another graphic. I'm just going to put it right up on the screen for our pros and cons. So our pros here for almond milk are that it's lower in calories. It's typically fortified to be a good source of calcium, vitamin A, and vitamin D, which is good, so you don't have to worry about missing out on those vitamins and minerals. It's vegan and it's naturally lactose-free, so you don't have to worry if you follow a vegan diet or if you have a lactose intolerance. Some cons of almond milk are that it's not a good source of protein, so you are going to have to get your protein another way, or maybe you want to, add a protein powder or something with this milk and make a shake or whatever it is you guys want to do. It may contain carrageenan, which may cause digestive issues in some people, and there are some environmental concerns about the amount of water that is used to cultivate these almonds. Okay, so now let's get into soy milk. So soy milk, just similar to the almond milk, is made from soybeans and filtered water. Same thing here. Typically these milks that you buy at the store will contain a thickener or something like that to improve the shelf life and the overall consistency of the milk. So because this comes from a soybean, so a plant, it is naturally free of cholesterol and of saturated fats. And there's no lactose in this one either. So protein, calcium, and potassium are good sources of soybeans as long as they're fortified. So this is going to be the same for soy milk too. Now let's get into the pros and cons. So the pros of soy milk are that it's a good source of potassium and can be fortified with vitamins A, B12, and D, as well as calcium. It contains as much protein as a cow's milk, yet it's lower in calories than whole milk, and about equal to the calories in 1% or 2% milk. So if you're looking to have a milk that has more protein and more calories, but you can't have cow's milk, or you don't want to, or whatever it might be, then this is a good option for you. It also contains very little saturated fat because, like I had said, this is a plant-based milk. Some cons of soy milk is that soy is a common allergen for both adults and children, and most of the soy produced in the United States comes from genetically modified plants, which is a concern to some. So this was a huge one in my family, so my sister, we had stopped giving her the soy milk after we had found this stuff out. So again, this is all up to you guys. Take the pros and cons however you wish and make your own decision. Now let's get into rice milk. Now, I didn't know too much about rice milk until I started doing some research because, like I said, I never really use it. Same with soy, so I'm here to share that with you guys today. So similar to the almond and soy milk, the rice milk is made from milled rice with filtered water. Same thing, there are going to be additives to help the shelf life, consistency, and stability of this product. Now, this is going to be the least likely to cause any type of allergen compared to the other milks that I've already talked about. So anybody that has a lactose allergen or an allergy to soy or milk or nuts or anything like that, this is a good option for you. Rice milk is going to have the most amount of carbs compared to the other milks that we have listed already. Now, rice milk is typically fortified with calcium and vitamin D because it is not naturally found in your rice. Same thing with like the soy and almond milk, like I said before. Now, another kind of red flag here is rice has been shown to have higher levels of inorganic arsenic in them. So the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, has really highly recommended that you don't solely rely on rice or rice products. Infants, children, and pregnant women especially. The American Academy of Pediatrics said essentially the same thing. So just avoid depending on rice or rice products and just focus on having a nice variety of foods in your diet. So I know we've already mentioned a few, but let's get into the pros and cons. So the pros of rice milk are that it's the least allergenic of milk alternatives. It can be fortified to be a good source of calcium, vitamin A, and vitamin D. Rice milk is naturally sweeter than other milk alternatives, so you don't have to worry about all those added sugars and flavorings and things like that. The cons of rice milk are that it is high in carbohydrates, so it's the least desirable choice for people with diabetes. It is not a good source of protein, and eating too much of a rice product may pose a health risk for infants and children due to inorganic arsenic levels. Okay, and lastly, let's get into coconut milk. Now, I've been loving coconut milk this year. I've been using it in drinks and things, and it's super good, so I'm really excited to talk about this one. So coconut milk is actually made from filtered water and coconut cream. Now this makes sense when you've seen me in my videos with like how thick it is, or if I've used the ones that are in the can and I forgot to shake it up, and you can literally see that the fat has separated and will literally like plop. And coconut cream is made from grated mature coconut flesh. Oof, when I was in, I forgot if we were in Montauk or the Hamptons, we had one of those, and I had gotten this coconut. It was so good. Now a little kind of asterisk here, even though coconut has nut in its name, it is not a nut. So anybody with a nut allergy, like, don't worry about consuming coconut or coconut milk here. So the coconut milk that is typically used like when you're cooking and stuff like that is going to be in those cans, like I had said, which is a little bit different. It's a little bit thicker, but I don't like to use it. And the coconut milk, they kind of want you to start calling it like a coconut beverage or something, or a coconut milk beverage or something like that, because it is way more diluted than the kind that you use for cooking, but it's coconut milk. So again, a lot of times thickeners and things like that are going to be used with this milk too, and this milk also has a higher amount of fat than the other milks. Well, than the other milk alternatives, so like those plant-based ones, not the cow's milk. So calcium, vitamin A, and vitamin D are also fortified here because they're not naturally found in the coconut. So now, again, let's go into the pros and cons. Short list here. So the pros of coconut milk are that coconut milk is safe for most people with nut allergies. It can be fortified to be a good source of calcium, vitamin A, and vitamin D. And the cons of coconut milk are that it is not a good source of protein, and it may contain carrageenan, again, which may cause digestive issues in some people. Alright, but that is it for this video today, you guys. I hope you liked it and I hope you learned something new. If you did like it, make sure to give this video a nice thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell so you don't miss none of my videos. And share this video with anybody who loves milk, or maybe is lactose intolerant, or maybe they don't like milk, or I don't know. And as always, I'm going to have everything down in the description box for you guys so you can easily follow or go back or whatever you guys want to do. It'll be mapped out for you. And as always, if you guys want to get my exclusive nutrition tips, healthy food recommendations, and delicious recipes right to your inbox, then make sure to head over to my description box, click the link, and join the fam. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.